stars. Fury as doctored image of bruised Kate Middleton used in DV campaign. A picture of the Duchess of Cambridge, Kate Middleton, with a face covered in bruises and scars, has been plastered to buildings and bus stops across Milan and Spain as part of a DV awareness campaign. A doctored image of Kate Middleton, edited to make her look like a DV victim, has sparked fury. The picture shows the Duchess of Cambridge with deep purple bruising under eyes and several nasty fresh scars on her face. The posters have been spotted plastered across bus stops and buildings in Milan and Spain in a controversial awareness campaign. The Duchess was one of a number of well-known women whose faces were edited by Italian artist Alessandro Palumbo. Each image was accompanied with a chilling caption to shock the public into realizing the horrors of domestic A. Red and white writing on each of the images reads, "She reported him, but nobody believed her. But she was left alone. But she was not protected. But he was not stopped." A bold red bar at the bottom adds, "But she was unalived anyway." Other famous women whose recognizable photos were used in the campaign include U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, Queen Letizia of Spain, and European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen. Kensington Palace was not consulted in relation to the campaign, and the artist said he wanted to use the famous faces to visually shock anyone that passed them, rather than to suggest the celebs are actual victims of DV. Palumbo said he wanted to, quote, draw attention to the poor responses from politics regarding the problem of gender-based violence and highlight the, quote, ineffectiveness of the support and protection system toward the victims. Captioning the images on Instagram, he said, "Why should a woman report the violence if after the report she is not protected by the institutions and ends up being unalived anyway? How can a woman victim of abuse and violence still have faith in the institutions?" But many social media users were furious that he'd used the pictures without the consent of the women. One wrote, "How about asking the families of women who have actually suffered from domestic abuse if you can post their pictures? This is ridiculous." Another commented, "You are not funny. Don't use images of women who didn't give you their authorization." The Duchess's representatives have been approached to comment on the campaign, but I am not seeing any comment. You know, I think it's probably safer for the artist to use celebrity women than, you know, private citizens who have that particular unfortunate history, right? But it also tells you how there's a good deal of shame put on the victims of DV, like, why didn't you leave? Why didn't you this? Why didn't you that? Rather than putting out pictures of the perpetrators, right? Rather than putting out the photos of, you know, the people who didn't prosecute, who didn't protect, right? It's like 304 business, right? It's always blame the woman who's in the business. She wouldn't be in business if nobody was paying, if there wasn't someone profiting off that work. Similarly, there's so much value derived over bullying and getting handsy with women in domestic situations. It is a kind of labor that's emotional and physical that if it were removed from domestic situations, where would it go? Where would that need to dominate go? Where would it get expressed? If there was no one to victimize in private, with total control, economic control, sexual control, emotional control, where does that impulse get directed? And I can definitely hazard a few guesses, right? It goes somewhere. Somebody gonna get it if somebody feels like they have an impulse to get away with that. Now, I'm all for awareness campaign. I think most of the women whose photos were used, their image can take it, and they are public figures, right? If they can be of service in this way, it would have been a great launch pad to have a discussion about this. But ironically, this article was written in 2021, and right now we are you know, dealing with a disappearance or a sick out or, hidden recovery period where there's no photos, no videos, no screenshots, no nothing. Pippa and James are off on vacation, smiling, laughing. So what is going on, right? Will the Invictus visits photos roust people out of hiding? We saw the state of William last week. What is going on? And could this theme, ironically, have any impact on she who we cannot seem to lay our eyes on in 7-8 weeks now?